Hello everyone, and welcome to the review of the S13 scooter. You may say that this is a Honghao scooter, another model. Well, actually it's not. It doesn't come from the same factory. It actually doesn't have anything in common with the Honghao scooter, with the S12. This is made by another company in another factory, and they only kind of copied the design of the Honghao, but everything else is different from that scooter. So I'm going to jump directly to the technical specs. So it's a dual motor scooter. Each motor is rated up to 1500 watts, while the S12 was limited to 1200 watts. This also has a 60-volt battery. It's not 48 like the Honghao. And also the suspension is redesigned, as both arms are on the same side right now. And they use this different design, this hollow design, which is better looking. It does have this space here. The Honghao was just a solid piece of aluminium, and also it has a closed nut design here. And if I lay the scooter on this side, you can see that this thing is closed, while on the S12 you had an opening here, so you can loosen this bolt and take out the motor. Well, in this case it's more complicated to do the maintenance, but it's also more secure, as this being closed in one single piece makes it more resistant. The motor design is also changed a bit and looks more aggressive, with straight lines and not rounded shapes. Also the deck looks similar, but I think that it's a bit thicker to accommodate the new 60-volt battery. I'm not sure about that. I haven't measured it yet. But the battery also looks really nice, as you can see in this picture here. It's a hardcase battery. It's encased in a very hard plastic casing that gives it more resistance to shocks, which is really nice. It also is protected by a fuse in case something goes wrong with one of the controllers, or plug overheats or something like that. You are protected by that fuse. That's a very good idea. So they did a good thing on the electronics on this one. The side LEDs have also been changed, and now they use 3 chip LED light source. So the Honghao only has 1 chip inside, this one has 3, and it's a lot more powerful. The same goes for the backlight. The red LEDs here, as you can see them, there are 3, really powerful. They make a really good light. Also, the brakes have a small change, although they are still mechanical and still the same like on the S12, and they are decent brakes. But on this kind of scooter you already need hydraulics, because it needs a lot of stopping power. They added this small spring here, which pushes the arm of the brake back, and this improves things a bit, makes the brake lever a bit harder to squeeze, but this departs the brake pads better and reduces the friction when you don't use the brake, so that's a good addition. They've also included this foot stand support over the rear fender. The rear fender, looks like it's a bit more better quality than the Honghao mudguard, but it's still too short, and the rear wheel will throw dirt on you, so things could have been improved there. But this is a nice addition. It brings more strength to the rear part of the scooter, and when you want more stability you can press on that and you are not going to break the fender. Now there is also a headlamp included, and this also has a built-in horn. Not the most powerful or effective horn, but it's something that you can scare the pedestrians away, but it's not for the cars. On the handlebar you are going to find the main headlamp switch, the horn switch, side lights. Now you turn them from here, you don't have the push button on the deck. You have the single and dual motor drive mode selector, and it comes default with this color trigger, which works okay. It's programmable, has a lot of working modes, it can show voltage and stuff like that. And also this, in conjunction with the controllers, it supports electric brake and regenerative braking. So when you have some power that was already spent from the battery, when you press the brake, it will not only brake electrically, but it will gain some of that power and put it back into the battery. The folding system is the same as on the S12, and it has the same problem. If you remove that and you don't hold the stem, it will fall and hit that fender there. Alright, so no more talking, let's go to action and see how this thing rides. But first I want to show you something, how powerful this model is. You can see here there is very tall and thick grass. There are also these dried out bushes, and all this place here, it's the same. It's very soft when you walk around, and you get covered in grass up to over the hills. So this thing works here on first gear with no problems. And let me show you. So I'm going to start it up, and I'm going to use just gear 1, which is the lowest speed and lowest power, but I'm going to use dual motors, and there is no push start. As you can see, it's even hard to push in this grass. So, and I'm off already, and there are deep trenches here, but nonetheless this works with no problem. Look at that. So there's no stopping for it, only you need to be able to hold it steady and not fall from it. Otherwise it has impressive amount of power and torque. And it's time for a speed test. So I'm just going to select first gear. Let's see. Top speed in first gear is 30. Alright. And I'm going to try second gear. So first gear was 30. Second gear. And that was 50, and I think it is going to be mad on third gear. So third gear it is now, and let's see how this thing goes. that was 60 kilometers per hour. Alright, we'll do the second speed run. First, I must say that I have around 85 kilograms myself. Then you can add the protective gear, another few kilograms, and I have a backpack which has about 5 kilograms, so I'm easy over 90 kilograms right now, maybe closer to 100 with all the cameras, gear, drone and batteries that I carry now. So that will affect the top speed, but nonetheless I'm going to try again. Also, the battery is not full and speed decreases progressively with the battery level, and now I'm also going uphill, so let's try it again. As you've seen, it can go even uphill almost to 60 kilometers per hour, fully loaded, with the battery partially discharged, so that is really impressive. Also, the electric brake works really nice on this model. It's not very shocking when it activates. There are some electric brakes that kick in like a punch and almost block the wheel. This is kind of a soft electric brake. It enters progressively, so it activates and then you can feel that the scooter is slowing down, but it doesn't create that jolt that some other scooters with electric brakes have. So that was a short speed test. For a true speed test I need some better conditions, such as lighter protective gear and also some fully charged battery. It's also very cold outside. It's just around 2 or 3 degrees centigrade, so you cannot get very good battery performance. But we need to test something else, and that is the suspension and how this handles in off-road, because we know that the S12 scooter is really good on off-road conditions. So let's see how this thing performs in off-road conditions. And although the road here is rather good, I can say that the scooter provides a really nice and comfortable ride, and you can push it rather hard on this terrain here. It goes really nice. Whoa! Woohoo! It's actually enjoying to ride it fast, and it doesn't feel like you need to worry that you are going to jump over something and break your neck, because it doesn't feel that way. The roads are trying to throw your tiny wheels off the ground, but they don't lose contact. You are always with the wheels on the ground, putting a lot of torque power, brake and control over the ground, and this thing really rides nice and controllable. I think I did say controllable a few times until now, but I can say that this thing is really controllable, and I think I'm lost. No problem. You can always use more throttle when you are in doubt of something. Let's try it this way. And that was a small jump over there. Really nice. And even on rough ground, it has a lot of acceleration, it has a lot of power, which I really like. There's no footpath here, there's nothing. Not really smart, but I've made it in this nice clearing here. Some real drifting there. It seems that this can always throw you over if you overdo it. The leaves aren't helping either, but that is amazing how it performs. I really like it a lot, and even if I jump on this board, it somehow feels a bit better than the old Honghao. The old Honghao is, when you buy it and it's new, it has a very stiff suspension, and the more you ride it, the more you ride the S12, the better it gets, as it gets softer and softer and softer. Well, this one is kind of progressing from the beginning, so the first part of the jump or the rough part of the terrain, it's absorbed very smooth, and then the suspension begins to get even harder, so it kind of only absorbs the small shocks, and then it will compress harder, and it will not make the wheels too soft, and it will not balance the scooter to lean on the front when you are braking or overextend the arms too often. So it kind of gives you better control, which I really like. Alright, so you've seen how this thing runs. So it's fast, it's very fast. It's faster than the S12 when it comes to top speed. Also, it has more torque starting. When you have full battery, it accelerates faster than the S12. With the 60-volt battery, you now have also some extra runtime. Also time for the regular pros and cons. So I like this suspension, works really nice, and having both arms on the same sides makes it feel somehow more stable than the S12 slightly. It feels a bit better. The brakes work okay, but I don't like mechanical brakes, so you constantly need to adjust them. Another small con is here, where the support fixed to the suspension arm, suspension bushing actually. It has a screw here. It had one here, which I have taken off because this arm, when it compresses, it hits the screw head. You need a screw that has a very narrow head, and it was using a regular screw like this one, and it was always touching there. You can see the mark. That one is only made there to keep this and the mudguard. If you take this off and use the original screws, there will be no problem, as this screw will get in more with the thickness of this material, so that makes it offset outside and hits that. So they added this, but they have should have changed the screws, or at least this one, but it also is really solid with just 3 of them. And I was about to forget about this one. So the scooter also has a built-in alarm, and you can lock it and unlock it from this remote. And it has several things. It even has a motion alert or something like that, but I don't know how to exactly work it out. I'm going to find out. And it will also cut the power, so now it works, but if I lock it, it will turn the power off and it will no longer work. and now as you can see it's dead and you cannot start the scooter anymore. And that's a good thing when you leave it somewhere. And it seems that I have somehow activated the alarm. It's a nice addition. Hopefully they will add some documentation of how to use the remote. Of course it works just like on the S12, but when you buy this one they should give you instructions for how to operate this. So that was it for now. I hope that you have enjoyed this review. Please don't say this is an S12 or a Honghao, because it's not, nor an upgraded version. It's simply another scooter which has that design. So if you have any kind of questions or want to ask me more details, leave a comment below and I am going to try to answer to them as fast and as best as possible. And until my next upload, see you and bye bye.